Story 1. People smile when they talk to you. Attractiveness isn't only about looks. If you can make people laugh or feel good about themselves, inquire about things important to them, and follow up on major life events, there's a good chance that you are in some way attractive to that person. Mind you, that doesn't automatically mean they have romantic or sexual interest in you. Attraction doesn't have to mean sexual attraction. Sometimes it can simply mean the opposite of repulsion. Story 2. Your supervisors and leaders at work want you to present at work. They will assign you projects and want you to give presentations internally and with customers. Although it is shallow, businesses promote attractive people over less attractive ones. This is for any jobs that require you to speak in front of other employees and customers. It may not help you earn more. I am not sure about that. Story 3. People will tell you that you are handsome, and you will not believe them because the girls when you were in high school 16 years ago told you that you were ugly, and no one would ever want to date you, much less be with you. Story 4. When people introduced themselves to you a couple of years ago, I hired a new employee after a phone interview, so I had no idea what he looked like. He started to work 3 weeks later, and when I walked him to his cubicle, my entire department, men and women, lined up behind me to meet him. The next month, I hired another older employee. When I walked him into the office on his first day, there was no line of greeters. I also noticed people calling the younger guy the department alpha male. To be fair, he was a nice, humble guy, and funny enough, he complained about all the visitors he would get throughout the day. Haha. Story 5. When people make the first move on you at nightclubs or music festivals, that rarely happens to me, but when it does, it makes me think I'm not as unattractive as I think I am. Story 6. I promise this is not me trying to boast, but I don't know how to say this without sounding extremely conceited. After I got divorced, so many men started coming out of the woodwork to tell me they had always been attracted to me and had wanted to date or sleep with me, but didn't make a move since I was married, and now were looking to try their luck now that I was single. As someone who has always been quite overweight and was bullied as a kid for being awkward and nerdy, I was shocked. Story 7. Men and women faint when I'm close, although admittedly, that could be because I wash my hair in a mixture of goat urine and horse manure. Makes my hair shiny. Story 8. When you find out your younger sister has been giving out your school pictures and your girlfriend finds a picture of you in the mirror of her younger cousin who lives in another city. Story 9. When people get curious about you, like having no social media presence. I know Reddit is social media, but it's more anonymous. They respect you more or wonder where you are in life. Absence increases attraction, I feel like. Story 10. If people consistently compliment your looks or show interest, it's a sign you might be more attractive than you think. Also, when you notice that others are often looking your way or trying to engage with you, it suggests you have a strong appeal. Story 11. People are merely being attracted to you, but not loving you. I mean this platonically and romantically. My personality does not match the stereotype of my looks. I'm autistic. It's almost like people feel betrayed when they get to know me and find out I'm a whole person. So sorry I'm not superficial and easily influenced. I didn't get the memo. Story 12. People laugh, smile, and compliment me when talking to me. They don't really like to hold eye contact, though. I've also noticed that when people have options between me and someone else, like if there are 2 cashiers at my job, they will come to me even if it's more inconvenient. Story 13. People that you dated but weren't on your best behavior with, maybe you ignored them or just had behavior towards them you weren't proud of, they still try to pursue you. Story 14. As a man, women will look for excuses to touch you or initiate conversation. They will even go as far as to make it seem like it's a total coincidence too. Women are very tuned in socially, as their lives depend on it, and very rarely do they come into any type of physical contact with men they aren't attracted to. Story 15. They look deeply into your eyes. My girlfriend always tells me how pretty my eyes are. She was the first to consistently compliment me. She also lets me know when other women are looking into my eyes a little too deeply. Since she taught me what to look for, I can feel it when a woman is looking deeply into my eyes. Story 16. I started going to the gym and got a decent haircut in my late 30s. I've never had more attention from women in my life. The differences are that you catch them staring at you, they randomly smile and get giggly when you talk to them, and they'll sometimes just make obvious flirtatious comments to you. Story 17. Actually getting a Tinder date if you're a guy. I was complaining about only getting one Tinder date, and this was about 8 years ago. A coworker said, "What are you complaining about? At least you got a match on Tinder." Further, I have gotten laid from Hinge, Bumble, Blender, Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, Meet Me, and Scout. Evidently, not many men have had that level of success. Women not only want to talk to you but get closer to you when they talk to you. Flirting with them is not seen as creepy. Story 18. This comes at it from the other direction, but if you think you're like a 1 to 4, you're probably not giving yourself enough credit. Statistically, most of us are probably between a high 4 and a low 7. Though it's probably too rigid to think about these things so strictly. Someone out there might think you're a 1 and someone else might think you're a 10. Attractiveness is weird, and there's no accounting for taste. Story 19. Isn't it when babies smile and look at you a lot? I think it could be hard to determine if you're attractive based on how adults act. When I see someone attractive, I act as nonchalant as possible and don't even look their way, except to sneak small glances their way without them knowing, hopefully. Story 20. As a man, 1. Babies stare at you. People laugh really easily at your jokes. Women feel safe approaching you for help. Women are more proactive in making plans to hang out with you. People take interest in your quirky hobbies and don't automatically make fun. Older ladies are creepy about it. The older generation tries to hook you up with their daughter, granddaughter, etc. Story 21. My male friends' girlfriends usually don't like me. They always see me as a rival. My last 2 male bosses were always nicer to me than to other people on the team. 90% of the men I know now have hit on me since I've been single, a little less than a year. And this is all very new to me. When I was a teenager, I was the girl with a lazy eye, bad teeth, and overweight. I started taking care of myself with eye surgery, significant dental care, and began going to the gym. I can tell you, being attractive is a game changer. Story 22. Signs you might be more attractive than you think include people frequently making eye contact with you, receiving unexpected compliments, or others often going out of their way to be around you. Sometimes, subtle cues like people seeming nervous or flustered in your presence can also be a hint. Story 23. People approach you to tell you that you are. This only happened to me twice, and I didn't believe them. I thought they were selling me something. Also, free things apparently. Story 24. Attractiveness is not static for men. It can depend upon the available pool of desirable men. When a man is young and relatively average-looking or has average appeal, the odds favor women's choice. Average young men getting rejected a lot in their 20s can have a damaging effect on their self-image that tends to stay with them. Can be hard to shake off. We start to think we are unattractive. Later, when they turn 30 and 40, the pool of attractive eligible bachelors shrinks. Women start to understand that the men they passed over in the past are not so bad after all. And younger 25-year-old women start to find older, accomplished 35-year-old men with careers, actual resources, and worldly wisdom to be more attractive and a better bet. Suddenly, we're catnip. Story 25. This is like the 3rd time I have seen this in a week, and honestly, I do not really care, but I guess it would be being able to get employed and have a healthy relationship. Story 26. When I was single, I had all kinds of overtures tossed my way. I didn't think they could have possibly been interested in me. Only sometimes, decades later, I would think about a conversation or encounter and say, wait a minute. Looking back, some of these were pretty damn blatant, and I totally missed the cues. Not that I would trade my wife for the world, but nevertheless. Story 27. I have always wanted to know if I am good looking or not. I have been told many times that I am, but it seems to be only gay men and much older women that flirt with me. Story 28. Girls ignore you and never talk to you. But then you find out that they all secretly have a crush on you. So you ask a bunch of them out, but they go right back to ignoring you again. Just one of the downsides of being attractive. Story 29. I realized I am much more attractive than I thought when women started approaching me in public. I was pretty shy until my late teens due to some sexual abuse when I was 12 to 13 years old and did not think any other woman would want me. Then I realized that women do not just go up to every guy and start talking to them or ask them if they are single. It took me a few years to realize that they were signaling interest in me. Over 30 years later, I am still riding the wave. Story 30. When you go on a date that goes really badly and you definitely do not click or mesh or jive in any remotely social way, but they still really want to see you again. Story 31. Pretty privilege goes a lot further than you think. I graduated college in 2009 in Michigan. If you all remember, that was during the recession, and there were no jobs, especially in states like Michigan. I never had an issue finding employment. I've also moved all over the country on a whim and never had issues landing a job in any new place, big or small. And I've actually never worked as a waitress or in the service industry. I do office administration and accounting type work for white-collar industries. But to this day, I know when I walk into an interview room and see a man behind the desk, most likely I'm getting a job offer. I'd love to say it's due to my skills, resume, or personality, but for a majority of them, it was pretty obvious. I've also been hired by bosses who later told me they thought I'd make the company look good, which always made me feel like the smart kid who messes up the curve in class. Story 32. People just stare when you walk by, and I feel like it is not always about them starting a conversation, but they can view you as intimidating. Hence, they don't say anything other than smile. Story 33. Okay, I love myself and know I'm attractive and all, but lately, I've realized it even more so than I thought. Every single time I leave the house, I get complimented on something. My outfit, my purse, my hair, my sneakers, everything. It's always happened, but now that I am out with my boyfriend more and he's there to witness it, I've been paying attention to it more. Story 34. If you look like me and have my brain, just kidding. But to be honest, this is kind of my experience. I honestly don't know what kind of signs there are because I'm pretty oblivious and self-conscious. Some people are very overt in their interest, and that's how I found out I was secretly attractive the whole time, even when I didn't feel like I was looking my best. One funny instance of this is when I thought I was going out in a sloppy outfit with boots and shorts to pick up some takeout. A guy on a bike nearly crashed from not paying attention to where he was going, and then on the walk back, a guy in a car was completely stopped at a stop sign for a while as I walked by. I was like, oops, I guess I can't wear this. Story 35. People want to be in your presence. It's not much more complicated than that. The intimacy can be, but that's pretty intimate. And then pay attention to their pleasures. Story 36. In high school, people would meet me and be like, whoa, that's your last name? Wait, you are so-and-so's brother, no way. People always thought I was older, assumed I had a girlfriend in conversations, and groups of girls would stare at lunch or in the halls. But I was, and still am, an awkward dude and thought I had a huge forehead or something. Story 37. My wife will occasionally tell me that women will look at me and smile when we are out walking around. Then, they notice her walking with me and instantly stop. I never noticed this, but I like to think they are checking me out and are annoyed to find out such an attractive person is already taken. Probably wishful thinking, though, since I'm not attractive at all. Story 38. I'm getting an insane amount of services and things for free. People are always super friendly, although some women look angry at me. I get stared at a lot, and people engage in conversation and listen to what I have to say. I still often think I'm ugly, but I guess it's normal for a former obese woman who has experienced the quite opposite for several years. It's a scary contrast, to be honest. Story 39. My wife is the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. This woman is so beautiful. When I started dating her, we were in a pandemic, and the first time we went out without masks, I thought, there's no way I am dating this woman. She must have a missing front tooth or something. I found out that I am pretty attractive too. Story 40. These replies actually got me thinking. When a lot of friends ask you what you think about relationships, is that a sign too? I thought it's a pretty normal topic, but then again I also struggle at picking stuff up. Story 41. I never appreciated this as a younger person. I felt super ugly and nerdy all of my early 20s, but looking back, I guess I was considered attractive. Men at school would always offer to do things for me. Bring me snacks, walk me places, help build my IKEA furniture, offer me a ride to the mall or coffee shop, and ask if they could study with me. They would also show interest in whatever I was interested in, like sitting through a movie I wanted to watch or going to a concert for a band they had never heard of, because I needed someone to go with me. That sort of thing. Despite all of that, by the way, I was pretty shy with actual dating. Even though I would hang out with guys from the dorms or class, I never dated anyone until my junior year at 21. Story 42. I work in an industry where we get a lot of older customers. Grandmothers have no problem telling me how pretty I am. Once, a lovely old lady told me I should call my parents to tell them they are lucky to have me as a daughter. I rarely ever get attention from people my own age, so I am always delighted when the grandmothers tell me this. Their husbands, however, have a different way of showing it.